Shalom, all praises to Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai. Double honors to the elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations to the elect and all the brothers pushing this work in sincerity and in truth. This is Brother Tamayan from GMS Toronto coming at you with another video. I've been trying to find this video that I saw last week, or I think earlier this week, about this Edomite who's trying to discredit King David, right? And he went into scriptures, which it's the thing about these people who always run their mouth on the internet. You go into the scriptures and the answer is literally right there, right? But he's saying, right, that King David didn't kill Goliath. He's saying, it might have been one of King David's men who killed Goliath, and then word of mouth. He's pretty much saying it was broken telephone, and Goliath wasn't that tall. He said King David was about 5'8", and Goliath was like 6'9", which the scriptures never said anything like that, right? He's trying to go back and say, oh, the span and all that stuff. The cubits was a different weight back then. All manner of garbage this man was spilling out. I was trying to find the video, but I can't find the video. But I'll just go into the scripture that he said, right? And he called for 2 Samuel. He's like, go and read 2 Samuel, the 19th chapter, 2 Samuel 2 and 19. So I read 2 Samuel 2 and 19 because he's saying that Goliath was slew by David's men, or one of David's men, right? Which I think this guy is getting the scriptures mixed up, right? He's pretty much trying to discredit our king, Malak Dawad, right? Malak Dawada, saying that these things that he did wasn't it wasn't King David that did these things, but King David had already proven himself to be a man of the Lord even before he was in the army, right? Even before he was king, because the Lord was protecting David. He talked about how he fought off bears, right? And all that stuff, right? So he had that spiritual power on him from day one, because the Lord had already put that spirit in the earth to be protected and for him to do great things. But anyways, this Edomite, they need to stop talking about the scriptures, because first thing first, the Lord didn't put that spirit on you Edomites for you to talk about the scriptures and breaking scriptures down. Now you're just lying, right? And you're trying to deceive people who are pretty much getting waken up. You can only deceive these 2/3, right? Because that's your lot. That's your lot to deceive. And I'll get that scripture after, right? But I'll get this. The point is 19, right? Because he's saying that King David didn't kill Goliath, right? So he's talking about now when King David is in his old age. So let's read. And then he said King David didn't kill Goliath. We'll get that part when King David slaughtered Goliath, right? But before that, we'll get to this. Prove that King David was the one who killed Goliath. And what he's talking about is a different different war, right? So it said here, 2 Samuel's, right, 21, and I'll start at 15. Moreover, the Philistines had yet war again with Israel, right? And David went down. And another thing, before I go down to the scriptures, you keep putting a lot of, if you look up King David and Goliath on the internet or even on TikTok, they keep putting up a bunch of Edomites versus Edomites, man. These are so-called dark-skinned people versus dark-skinned people, right? Our people, the true Israelites, were always a dark-skinned nation. And you're calling us Hamites, right? And the scriptures clearly going into the Philistines, who are a sect of the Hamites, and you're still putting up white faces, right? Shouldn't Goliath be an Egyptian looking person? Or I forgot, you think that those people are Edomites also, right? The Philistines go back to Philistia, right? Who's I think one of the sons or grandsons of Ham, right? Or great grandsons. But anyways, let's get right back into it. And David went down and his servants with him and fought against the Philistines, and David waxed faint, right? Because he was already getting old, right? To go through all these battles, right? He's sinning, he's doing all manner of things, right? So, you're gonna get faint, man. Let's see what that word faint means. Feeling weak and dizzy, close to losing, all right? And that comes from old age also. And Ish Benub, right? Which was one of the sons, which was of the sons of the giant, right? So this is Goliath's family member right here. The weight of whose spear weighed 300 shekels of brass in weight. He being girded with a new sword, thought to have slain David. Right. So this is who David was fighting. A man who's from the lineage of the giants. Literal giants, man. Okay? So he's saying these men are exaggerated. And the funny thing is they will put these men, these giants, and say those are the same giants that's in the book of Genesis, which these people are their minds bugged out. Okay? So King David as an older man, right? As an older man, this is in his older age. He's fighting against a young giant, man. Right? So he got injured. It's like everybody else. They have their battle scars. That's just what it is. Right? So he got injured in this battle. But Abishai, the son of Zeruiah, succored him. So let's see what that word succored means. Give assistance or aid to David, right? Because he saw his king was struggling, man. And smote the Philistine and killed him. Then the men of David swear unto him, saying, Thou shalt go no more out with us to battle, that thou quench not the light of Israel. So they were seeing that our king, like he's getting old. This battlefield thing, it's not for you anymore. Because back then the kings, they went into battle with their men, and they led their men into war, right? So this is where this fool got this thing from, where King David, you're saying King David was not that strong probably, and most of the credit probably went to him because he was the head of the army and all that foolishness, man. Right? But in this case, King David was the one that got injured, and then his man Abishai, right? He was the one that slayed Goliath's brother, right? So let's see again. And it came to pass after this that there was again the battle with the Philistines at Gob, right? Then Shibashai, the Hushatite, slew Saph, which was of the sons of the giant, right? And there was again a battle in Gob with the Philistines, and where Elhanan, the son of Jaar Reogim, a Bethlehemite, slew the brother of Goliath. So here's where the brother of Goliath came in, right? It literally tells you these were different battles where Israel was fighting the Philistines, and they had those giants, man, right? The giant kings of Goliath, and the brother of Goliath, the Gittite, the staff of whose spear was like a weaver's beam, right? And there was yet a battle in Gath, where was a man of great stature, right, that had on every hand 6 fingers, right, and on every foot 6 toes, 24 in number, right? And he also was born to the giants. And when he defiled Israel, Jonathan, the son of Shimei, the brother of David, slew him, right? These 4 were born to the giant in Gath, and fell by the hand of David and by the hand of his servants, right? So Malach Dawada, he slew Goliath, and his men took care of the rest of the giants. Where the fuck did you get King David didn't kill any giants here. Okay, fine. Let's get David slay Goliath. Okay, this is First Samuel when David was a young man. Okay, First Samuel 17. Let's get it. I'm gonna get right to the point. I can read it from 17, but the son of Jesse and David was the youngest. Okay, let's start at 14. It says, and David was the youngest, and the three eldest followed Saul, right? But David went and returned from Saul to feed his father's flock. Okay, hold on. So like, yeah. All right, so let me drop down to 30 something. 34. It says, and David said unto Saul, thy servant kept his father's sheep. So he's talking about himself. So this is pretty much saying, why are you afraid of this guy, of this giant or whatever, this arrogant Philistine, right? Right? And there came a lion and a bear and took a lamb out of the flock. So a lion and a bear, this is who David was going up against. So he had no fear, right? Because the spirit of the Lord was on David. So he had no fear of a damn giant, right? A bear and a lion that's more vicious than a man, right? They have nothing but what do you call it? Instinct, you know? And back then they were more aggressive and they were bigger, right? So King David had to regulate, man. The spirit of the Lord was upon him, and he knew the things that he had done. No one else knew, so he had no fear, you know. And I went out after him and smote him, and delivered it out of his mouth. And when he arose again against me, I caught him by the beard and smote him and slew him. So if a person that you know that slew a bear and a lion with their bare hands, or even with a weapon, and you see a mortal man coming at you, you're not gonna think anything of that man. Trust me. You're gonna have all the confidence in the world. Plus, if you know you have the Lord on your side, come on, man. Then thy servant slew both the lion and the bear, and this uncircumcised Philistine shall be as one of them, seeing he hath defiled the armies of the living power. Right. Let's drop down to 39. And David girded his sword upon his armor, and he essayed to go, for he had not proved it. And David said unto Saul, I cannot go with these, for I have not proved them. And David put them off because they were too heavy. Okay, David was a young man, right? The armor was too heavy. And he took his staff in one hand and chose him five smooth stones out of the brook, and put them in his shepherd's bag, which he had, even in his scrip. And his sling was in his hand, and he drew near to the Philistine. And the Philistine came on, drew near unto David, and the man was that bare the shield went before him. And when the Philistine looked, he saw David, he disdained him, for he was just a youth, but a youth and ruddy, of a fair countenance. So, oh, Salakia. And that doesn't mean he was white. Okay, that doesn't mean he was beautiful, man. He was fair means beautiful to look upon. Okay, because these words, you know, the meaning of change over time, important or just without favoritism. So you see, that's what fair means. It doesn't mean that his skin was pale, right? Because if you look up back in the day, fair skin means dark skin, really. And the Philistine said unto David, am I a dog that thou comest to me with staves? And the Philistine cursed David by his gods, right? And the Philistine said to David, come to me, and I will give thy flesh unto the fowls of the air and to the beasts of the field. So these are all threatening words. So you see who he's talking to? David. He's not talking to David's men, right? Let me drop down to it. Came to pass, the Philistine arose and came and drew unto David, and David has hastened and ran toward the army to meet the Philistines. Okay, where is this? Okay, okay, hold on. So like, yeah. Uh, Onto the air. Hold on. Let's see what it is. Second, 1751. All right, so here it is. Therefore, David ran and stood upon the Philistine and took his sword, right, and drew it out of the sheath thereof, and slew him, and cut off his head therewith. And when the Philistines saw this, the champion was dead, they fled. All right, so I don't know where this Edomite got this foolishness from, right? But he tried to put it out there and make a video and everything. And this is just the account of David killed Goliath, took his head off, and the account in Second Samuel's the this was when he was older. His men slew David's Goliath's cousin. Deceived the whole world, man. Okay, this is what they did. Revelation 12:9, and the great dragon was cast out, and the old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceived the whole world. Right? He was cast out into the earth, and the angel and his angels were cast out with him. So this is going into actually, you know what? It does talk about them being let loose to deceive the whole world, but it's mentioned a couple of times. The great dragon, right? Esau, Edom, right? You know, they use their religion really, and the iconoclasm and their doctrines, right, of the scriptures to deceive the whole world. Now, if you look up, right, so they're also known as Satan and the devil, the deceiver and the adversary to Yahweh Shem Shai, right? I know the video's a little choppy because I'm trying to jump here, there, and everywhere, but it's okay. The point is being made, right? That King David slew Goliath, okay? And King David wasn't fighting by himself. So, you know, there was plenty glory to go around. David's men also slew these giants, Goliath's cousins and brothers and all that, right? So this is the doctrine that they put out there, you know, like, so the Christianity doctrine where they, you know, Edomites are always trying to prove themselves to be wise, but they're not, right? Always trying to prove something because they don't have any faith. We read the scriptures and we believe. We don't have to go around looking for Noah's Ark. We don't have to, oh, King David probably didn't kill these giants. No, he killed Goliath, man. Okay, and as you can see in Second Samuel, he was battling a giant and he got injured. He was struggling with him, right? So this is what you represent. The great dragon was cast out, right? That's you Edomites, right? Because you deceived the whole world. Not only did you deceive the Israelites, you deceived the Filipinos. You deceived the anyone who's pretty much into this Christianity religion, right? So this is how you deceive the whole world, right? With your doctrine. Let's get Goliath. Let's see what Goliath looked like, right? in the Bible. Let's see what Goliath looks like. Right? Look at this. King David and Goliath, white men. But when you go into it, Goliath was a Hamite, right? It's all Edomites here. Goliath, Hamite, Salakia. He's supposed to be a Hamite, right? Goliath is a Philistine. The giant of the book of Samuel describes as Goliath's immense stature vary among biblical sources, which varies text describing, right? But he's supposed to be a Philistine, which is a Hamite. I'm gonna spell it right. Goliath is a biblical figure, while Hamites are a group of people with a certain physical traits. Exactly. So these these Hamitic people, which the Philistines was a part of that, was a part of the family of Hamites. Hamite is the name formerly used for some northern and Horn of African people, right? Africa peoples in the context of new, outdated model of dividing humanity into different whatever. But this is this is supposed to be Hamites, group of people with certain physical traits such as, look at this, light brown to dark brown skin, wavy hair, narrow features. So these are two subgroups of Hamites, Western Hamites and Eastern Hamites. The Berbers, Tibu, and Fula, which is bullshit. The Fulani people are Israelites. Some of the Berbers are Israelites. Right? I've never seen a Tibu before. Eastern Hamites include the ancient and modern Egyptians. So this is where Goliath's line came from the Egyptians, right? The Philistines, the Nubians, Beja, Abyssinians. So they have some of the groups, right? Somalians, Maasai, right? And the Watusi. There's Israelites among all these people. But this is where the Goliath's family line came from, right? The Eastern Hamitic tribes. So where the fuck you get this from? Does this look like a Eastern Hermetic people to you? You know what I'm saying? This is where iconoclasm comes from, man. This is how they deceive the whole world. You know? Type in, let's say Jesus, right? Look, this is how they deceive the whole world. So when they tell you things like King David, let's see what they put for King David, right? See? When they tell you things like King David didn't really slew Goliath, that's them not having faith because faith is not given to them. We don't need to see that. King David's statue in Europe. Is it in Europe? Let me see if I find it. King David statue. It's not it. They had a statue of King David and the harp. Oh, there it is. So what they did here in this picture, they gave him a nose, right, to make it look like an Edomite. But when you did, because they took his nose off, check this out. See, big difference. Look at the features of King David right here. The original statue that they had of him. It's clearly a so-called Negro right here. High cheekbones, right? Clearly. And the Edomites don't play music. You don't play harp. King David was known for dancing. You don't dance, right? They have to knock his nose off, obviously, right? They have to knock his nose off. Definitely have to knock his nose off because they already know they don't knock his nose off. What's gonna happen? People are gonna know that this is a Negro. Okay, flat nose. That's how we're built. His phenotype is that of a so-called Negro. Right? His characteristic is that of a so-called Negro. Loves women. He tell us that we're womanizers and all that stuff, but when it comes to the great men of history being Negroes because of the women that they love, right, and women being their greatest downfall, you're not saying it's us, right? So that's how they deceive the whole world, man, right? I'm gonna leave it there because these Edomites, their lack of faith is astounding, right? And you're seeing it every time they speak about the scriptures. It has nothing to do with you, and only the men of the Lord, the Israelites, are the ones gonna be the men to pretty much teach the scriptures, right? And not teach men to sin and not teach men not to not believe the scriptures, right? I'll say shalom.